What's going on, droners? Sky and Water here with a little review from the Holy Stone 700. Its newest brushless, well, it's only brushless copter GPS positioning with 1080p. We'll go ahead and just start off real quick with just a little bit about the copter itself. Its props are real reminiscent of the Hubsan 501 screw-on. You don't need any kind of nut or anything like that. You just straight screw-on. Can't tell you the size of the motors. Probably should have researched that before so I could tell you. But anyway, as far as how big they are physically, they're actually bigger than the Bugs 3 and the Bugs 8 for that matter. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's as fast as those. Of course, it's a GPS quad. It's always trying to, deal with its position, fighting against the position hold, so it doesn't quite go as fast. The design itself, to me, reminds me of a small Solo as far as the way it's proportioned, 3DR Solo. But its actual features are very reminiscent of the H501S, which everyone knows is super popular. Hubsan has taken kind of that platform, in my opinion, and bettered it. It's got a very large battery with a claimed 20-minute flight time. I get more like 18, but it is a very large, kind of brick style, 2800 milliamp battery. It's very proprietary. You've got these right up here is what is used to connect, and also the charger pushes in like this and connects to the teeth right there. Charge time is relatively long. I can't say that I've timed it, but it's at 4 or 5 hours. I'm saying more towards the 5-hour mark. We've also got the camera here, which is a Holy Stone brand. I'm sure it's been probably sourced out, but it's very cheap feeling. The SD card slot is very difficult to get the SD card in there, at least mine is. I almost have to use like a pen or something to get it in further than it actually needs to be to lock it in. It does have some rubber grommets up here to kind of help save any kind of jello situations, which it does. We'll see in the footage. You've got this connector here that's going to the copter to power this and to provide FPV via Wi-Fi, which we all know about that. I don't need to like really go too far beyond that. You'll also notice that there is no external Wi-Fi antenna. We're straight Wi-Fi here. And the camera saying that it's cheaply made, it does come with this cool little protector of the front. Saying that it's cheaply made is just talking about its construction. Of course, they built it to be light, and it is very light. It serves its purpose. And the resolution itself is actually pretty darn good for 1080. But once you see the footage, you'll see that there's quite a bit of shake, as expected on a fixed camera kind of bird. You can, rotate it as far as its pitch, so that you can either, if you're flying fast, you can pitch it up a little bit, and vice versa. Cool design, very, very cool. Really not much else to talk about as far as the actual copter itself. The transmitter is very reminiscent of a DJI Phantom 3, sort of. I'll say I see a lot of things going into this copter that are reminiscent of other copters. The startup noise is that of MJX. There's a lot of similarities. People have actually asked the question, is it on an MJX platform? I don't think so. I've contacted Holy Stone. They say no, but I do feel a lot of similarities. Even the LBC is the same noise. Everything's the same noise. I'm starting to get a little rain here, so I might have to stop and wait for these clouds to pass by. It's kind of a gloomy, hot day here in North Carolina, about 93 degrees. But anyway, as far as the controller itself, it is pretty quality feeling. You've got this screen down at the bottom here, which shows you your distance in meters and your height altitude in meters. I don't think that there's a way to change that to an imperial scale as far as feet. So you kind of have to do your own conversion if you're here in the US. You've got a headless mode button here, which I just never mess with on any copter. because I don't use it. But you also have your satellite button here, which is going to be B is GPS, A is altitude hold. Altitude hold is much faster. Maybe we'll do that, maybe we won't. You've got your pictures taken right here. You got a short press for a capture and a long press for a video. And for the video, of course, you just press short and it will stop the video. You've got a automatic takeoff, automatic landing, and then you've got your start and your stop. You also have a little trim here, I believe. And that's about it. I like how they have this little roller up here, because it's kind of telling me something about what the future is to bring. And I like that, because I really think that this bird needs either a gimbal or at least super great software doing a electric image stabilization. I did throw the GoPro 5 session on here, and amazing quality. Great quality. It doesn't put off quality like you know, birds like, you know, the Phantoms or even the unique Q500s, Typhoons, but it does do well nonetheless. I think that's about it. I'm gonna let this rain pass us by, and then I'm gonna take it up and get you some footage. Return to home. I probably need to speak about that as well, because that's a pretty big feature people like on these GPS birds. It kind of gives you that feeling that you're not going to lose it. Works great. Works really good, I've found. It does not have a moving return to home. In other words, basically meaning that if you're walking or riding something, a bike or something like that, doing a follow me mode, and you press return to home, it's going to go back to its original takeoff spot. I know other GPS copters at the higher end don't do that. They'll actually follow you and land by your controller. But this one, I believe, and I might be wrong, but I believe thus far it comes back to the starting point. The app is a good app. It's the Ophelia app. I haven't had any issues with it. It's done really well. This will be my maiden attempt of doing the waypoints. Reason being is because my actual location where I live and do a lot of my filming doesn't have great data when I take my Wi-Fi off to use with the copter as opposed to my home. So I couldn't get the Google map to come up, so I couldn't do the waypoints. And the other thing that I'm having issues with so far is the circle me mode. I'm used to going to a point, putting the function into engage, and then back up a radius, and then submit, which will, you know, will allow you to determine your own circumference. This one, when I've used it, seems to kind of have its own default circumference, which seems to be about 30 yards. I understand you can change that, but I have yet found out exactly how to do that. Again, this is new to me. And again, price point. I never mentioned that. Price point right now on Amazon is right around $329, and I think they have it on special kind of introductory. It's right around $300 with the coupon that they provide. I will touch on that just a second. I think that's a little high for what you're getting. You can get other birds for a little bit more that actually have stabilized video or gimbals. So I think that they need to be a little more competitive, although it could be business strategy, it could be kind of introduction, step, and go further on with that. And I hope it is. It usually is the case. So I'm looking forward to getting the bird that has the EIS or the gimbal, preferably. The app, I'll show you maybe a little later in a later video, because this is getting a little lengthy. I didn't mean for it to be so lengthy. But I do want to put out a video of this bird because it's a great bird. It's one of my favorite in my fleets right now. I do have a very large fleet, but I'm liking it. It's steady as far as actually way it flies. I can't say that the video translates into that, but the actual quad itself is very stable. In flight, it's very fast for a GPS bird, as I mentioned. Was kind of surprised by that. And its actual flight paths and stick control are very sensitive and nice. Picking up with rain again, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and end it and give you some flight. Take it easy. I just want to point out that this is what kind of rain just followed me taking that short little video. I'm glad I got out when I did, because yeah, it would have gotten a little bit wet. Anyway, I'll get back somewhere else, a different location, to film some footage, because as you can see, It's not going to be here. At the beach here in North Carolina, you can go 3 miles and the sun's out with no clouds, except in a distance where it's pouring rain like it is here. So I'm going to go back to my house and we'll take some footage there. I'm sure it's not raining there. Check y'all. Couple things, guys. I made a mistake earlier when I said that Hubsan had bettered the platform. I meant Holy Stone had taken Hubsan's platform from what I can see and bettered it. Of course, Hubsan has some stuff in the works. It's pretty sick. I think we've all seen little glimpses of that. Anyway, also, these 2 switches that look to be trim switches are not. They're dummies. They don't do anything. Well, actually, this single one doesn't do anything. And that's about it. Again, we're here at my house. Got the boat, the old Sunburnt. My last name is Burnt. A little play on words. The sky's blue. Really nice. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and take this for a flight and get you some footage, y'all, later. Alright, can you guys see the fish? Should I get them to jump a little? I don't know. I don't know if you can see them or not, but they're everywhere. There's shrimp everywhere. Alright. We got the Ophelia. We've got 13 satellites. I also forgot to mention that it shows the TX and the actual quad's battery life here. It shows you your mode, your signal strength, and your satellites. As you can see, again, I don't have Google Maps because I don't have good coverage in this area. I have to figure that out. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and go up by arming the motors by unlock. conclusion with the Ophelia, it's a good bird. What I did notice after viewing the footage is that when you use the waypoints, it actually flies very steady when it's flying automated. I don't know what that says about my flying skills, but or the sensitivity of the sticks. Maybe it's a little too sensitive, or maybe I just need to quit having that shaky finger FPV shot out. But anyway, it's a good bird. I think it's going to take some getting used to before I can really truly appreciate it for what it is. But as of right now, I would definitely say it's an A bird. Not a B bird, C bird, it's an A bird. Right up there with the 105, the Hubson, you know, right up there with the Bugs 2 and the Bugs 5 and all that. So I would definitely suggest purchasing it if you like collecting drones especially and having different things that do different things. Y'all take it easy until next time, and let's see, next time, I don't know what we'll be doing. It's going to be, I've got a few birds I need to do, so we'll see what happens. Later, y'all. You know what else, guys? I always forget to say, go ahead and subscribe. Press the like button, hit the notifications button. We've got lots of stuff coming out. I say we, it's just me. My name is Martin Burnt, by the way, and Sky and Water, where you are right now. Later.